Uh-oh, here we are. What's happening, everybody?
It's popping.
I got my two favorite doctors, Dr. Yves and Dr. Val. I am still known as Kid. I'm a man in his 50s, still known as Kid. It's only in America. Only in America, right? Only in America. But yeah, this is the Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll podcast, or Sex, Love, and Rock and Roll. For some people, love is a drug. Sometimes that could be the worst drug. What do you think? What do you think, Dr. Val?
You might have something on that.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
I mean, you know what? I mean, I'm sure there's been murders on meth, and there's been murders on, somebody busted cheating, or unrequited love or something like that. So yeah, like love is meth of the soul. How about that? It can be.
I'm gonna have to pin that. Love is the meth of the soul. It's my new bumper sticker for Hallmark.
Hey, I've been working on my weeks off. All right, I don't just sit around and smoke weed. Sometimes I write stuff. I write stuff down. No, but it is great to see y'all, and there's been a few different things happening since we've all got together. It seems like the world is still careening out of control from day to day, and we're all still trying to maintain. But occasionally, and the topics tonight I think we'll bear that out. Sometimes the last bits of news were a little light at the end of the tunnel, perhaps, or hope. Exactly. It's been recently determined that a couple of different of the drug companies. You guys, I'm sure you guys is definitely your field. I think it was it Pfizer?
Pfizer, correct.
Pfizer, and what was the other one? Was it Moderna, or was that what they called it?
Kid. Look at you.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
It's up on it.
All I do is watch news. I can't go nowhere, man. I'm a doctor on television. You know what I'm saying? I'm a fake doctor. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure you guys, learning people can explain the situation a little bit more in depth. But it appears that we've gotten some promising information and evidence about potential vaccines, and I think it's giving people a little bit of hope. But I think we have to determine it. I was watching on television, and it wasn't. They haven't shown their data yet, if I'm not mistaken. This was just a press release, like. You know what I mean? Like just, hey man, we got it. It's not, just like it's almost like an ad for it, right?
Exactly.
But we need to. Sometimes the devil is in the details. So, just from a physician's perspective, Dr. Yves, how do you read that? And is it good news? Is it something we should even?
I think it's directionally going in the right way. It's giving us hope. I think everybody, it just helps to lift our spirits. But to your point, we need to see the data, but it is very encouraging news. One of them reported 90% efficacy, the other one 95%. And that was always a concern. As you know, when the flu vaccination is given every year, sometimes the efficacy, if we get it up to 50%, that's a good year. So to hit numbers like 90 plus is actually phenomenal. So that's the one piece of the puzzle of several pieces that we were concerned about, the efficacy. The second piece is how many people are going to actually take the vaccination. And with the flu vaccination, which is safe and has been out for years, people are still reluctant to take it. So any season, it's about 50% of the people take it. So Kid, we got to work on this. You cannot be the spokesperson for anti-vaccine.
No, I mean, no.
Let's not go there.
No. I'm certainly not. I'm not. I'm not like. Some there's certain celebrities that have really come out
Yes.
and no, I'm not an anti flu shot. I just looked at it from the perspective that that's never really been a problem. You know what I mean? So and then I'm not gonna lie, you hear all lots of different chitter chatter over the years. I'm sure most of it isn't really founded in any kind of truth, but it does get in your head. And to the point that, as just as a regular person, I'm like, well, I don't really get the flu.
Yes.
I don't really get the flu. I don't live back east anymore. You know, I live in a warm climate. I typically don't get sick, period. So
Yeah.
I was a little antsy about, you know, when they explained you're actually injecting the virus into you. And I was like, well, I never got the flu. So what, I need a flu shot? And then then you hear one person, all I need is one person to tell me I got the flu shot and then I got the flu. Ah, that's it.
Exactly.
All I need is one person. That's my data. You know what I'm saying? Just one anecdotal thing,
Yeah.
you know, and that allowed me to push it to the sides. But
I intentionally threw the ball back at you because I wanted to, this is the conversations I have with my patients all the time. And I wanted that perspective to play out. And that's exactly what we deal with. And, let's take it piece by piece. So you never got the flu. So let's say you're a woman and you're engaged in sexual activity. You were never pregnant before. And then you take no preventative measures. Well, you're just taking a chance. You're taking a chance. You're going to get pregnant. You're taking a chance. You're going to get the flu. Problem with getting the flu then. So, okay, I get the flu, whatever. The truth of the matter is 40 to 50,000 people a year die on average of the flu. Some seasons are worse, some seasons are better. And, it doesn't seem consequential because we don't really know anyone who died of the flu. It's not big numbers really in proportion, but it's still 40, 50,000 lives. Now you have COVID. Now we see numbers, right? Now we're seeing real numbers. We're seeing over 1 million people in the world. We're seeing over 200,000 in this country. Those are real numbers. And, those are real lives. And that may change the mindset. The fact that we know someone who's had COVID, we've known probably someone who's been sick, and there's some chances, high probability that we knew someone who died of it. Right. And so hopefully that will change that kind of mindset in terms of taking this vaccine. This is the only way out of this mess.
It is.
We have nothing else.
Mm-hmm. I'm the opposite of Kid. I will be the first one in line for the shot.
Really?
Like arms rolled up, butt cheek out. I'm getting the shot. I'm first one. I'm always getting my flu shot because I just have a system that is compromised. So I am one of those. And I just found out yesterday, for example, our daughter who's pregnant, we just found out has COVID. And so we're really concerned right now. My husband's lost his best friend. I lost another family member. So it's real, right? And my biggest concern is distribution of this drug.
Yes.
How is it going to be distributed to those that really need it?
Yes.
That's the big concern for me because the wealthy, those that have influence, they'll get it, right? But those that don't, what's the system? Because they are the ones that are getting COVID and dying. Let's be honest about that.
Yes. So that's a very good point. And I think COVID has highlighted the health disparities, how people are impacted by this disease based on social economics, based on race, et cetera. And so hopefully, again, I'm trying to be hopeful that we've learned from this and that we're not going to make the same mistakes that we've made before. There is a push to get to the most vulnerable people as a first step. And, this is where the politics starts to interplay with all of this, that we could, screw this up to your point, and we're not going to have the full amount of drugs when it first comes out. So the thinking is, let's get to the most vulnerable, our elderly, or people with multiple medical conditions, and then maybe the healthcare providers, the frontline, are next because they're providing the care, and then so on and so on. So it has to be thoughtful. We have to talk about the health disparities. That has to be part of the mix to make it equitable. The affordability, some people may not be able to afford it. How do we address all of that? But
exactly,
I'm hopeful that we've been around this block and we're gonna get this right.
Right.
Well, and I would say that obviously the news about these potential vaccines, very good news. And in light of the fact of the recent election, I feel better about the possibility of implementing it over the next several months, or whenever it becomes readily and available across the board. Right. I couldn't imagine Donald Trump handling that in any kind of sensitive way, compassionate way, fair way.
Be no vaccines for Detroit.
No vaccines for New York. No vaccines for New York. No vaccines for California. and definitely no vaccines for Delaware. We always gonna get
getting,
wiped out.
don't worry, we ain't getting shit.
Yeah, I gotta move to Oklahoma if I want the vaccine. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta move to one of the Dakotas if I want the vaccine.
Yeah, what's up with New York not getting the vaccine from Trump? What's up? Y'all making that damn now?
I'm telling you, man.
I can't answer for that, man. Nobody can answer for that, man.
Ridiculous.
Nope. No. Yeah, I mean, I
say let's go for it.
Yeah, let's just rock into it because, yeah, I mean, obviously, it would appear that the nightmare is potentially over. To quote a great Hollywood classic movie, "Ding Dong, the Orange Witch is dead," or at least voted out of office. The election has passed. Joe Biden is the president-elect, and true to form, Donald Trump is not accepting the results. Thinks he won, and has convinced millions of people that voted for him and his rock-solid base that this was a rigged election and that Joe Biden isn't the legitimate president and hasn't participated in any of the transition, the way it normally goes, to how you transition from one administration to another. He's just literally locked in his house, stamping his feet and tweeting mercilessly. Look, I don't think the nightmare is truly over yet, but first things were first, and the first thing was we had to defeat him in the election, which is what happened. All right, so boom, and through voter suppression, through all the cheating they're trying to do now after the fact, the issue remains that some big states that we didn't expect we could get, the Georgias and the Arizonas and the Pennsylvanias that we had lost came through. And so once again, as with the vaccines, I think there's hope. And for you guys in particular, in the way you have to deal with people at times in their anxieties, it can't hurt. To me, I mean, unless they're Trumpers, and then I guess they're upset. So,
I think they're real upset if they're Trumpers. I think what's most pragmatic for me, and speaking on this whole election, is that how divided our country really is. I think that's where it mostly stuck with is, and it's racially divided.
Absolutely.
And that is so scary. And I don't care what anyone says. I never want to hear anyone say, how in the hell did Hitler rise to power? I never want to hear it out of anyone's mouth. Because Trump, if he's allowed to stay, something about the way he presents, his magnanimous attitude, I don't know what it is. He can draw those.
He is absolutely a tyrant.
To go off kilter. He is. He's an evil being in my presence. But he has the ability to charge millions.
Absolutely.
Millions. Scary.
Yeah. Yeah. He didn't. Look. He didn't. Donald Trump didn't create racism. But he's profited from it. He's promoted it. The old political term used to be, dog whistles, but they ain't even dog whistling anymore. He's got his base so emboldened, they don't even hide their faces anymore when they,
the sheets are off.
The sheets is off.
Yep.
The guns are out. The guns are everywhere.
Everywhere.
You know what? And I will say this. I was worried in the run up to the election. My girlfriend was worried. Like every night we worried. She's like, "Oh, he's gonna win again. We're gonna have to move to Canada." I was like, "Stop it!" You have to stay positive. Like, but I will say this: I was a little disappointed because I just figured that the Democrats was just going to mop him, and mop not just him, but really up and down the line. State legislators pick up some more House seats. Hopefully, get a crack at the Senate, which I think is still in play with the with the two runoffs that we have upcoming. Right. But what it revealed is this: like, hey, we won, but we ain't win by much. You know what I mean? And we didn't. There wasn't a blue wave, and there's still a lot of to your point, Dr. Val, there's still a lot of rancor. There's still a lot of racist feelings out there and racial division.
Yeah.
That didn't stop because of the election, and it's still ongoing.
And we got to talk numbers, right? So to your point, he got, I think, and you guys can correct me, 46 million votes or so. But that wasn't the only big thing. He got 8 million net new people who believed in him and voted for him.
Yeah, the last numbers I saw were in the range of, Biden was somewhere upwards of 77 million, and Trump was like around 71 million, 72. So I mean, Biden had
about 70 plus. Yeah, I believe Trump was around about 71 million, and Biden was floating somewhere around about 76, 77.
Yeah.
So it's still a substantial amount of people who voted for Trump.
But he did 8 million plus more than he did the last time.
Yeah, and that says something. That says, I don't know what it says, but it don't say nothing good to me. That's all.
It says nothing good to me. It says this country is just polarized into opposites right now.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So I feel for Biden and the VP. I mean, like, who wants that job? I mean, it's still, Trump is still going to be somewhere around.
Oh my God, every day. I mean, and you know what? It's really interesting. It always seems that the left has to clean up the right mess. I mean, when Obama took over in 2008, we were on the brink. We had an economic pandemic. You know what I'm saying, in terms of how bad the economy was going. And it's almost like, it was the equivalent of, you bought a house. And the last owner just took a shit in every room and just left it there. And just like, here's the keys, enjoy. I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying? So there's just all this garbage that has to be cleaned up, and this is no different. I mean, this is worse. I mean, people are dying every day, and people are divided every day. They're dying every day, and we're divided every day. And so this is what has to be cleaned up. I'm much more, I feel much better about it than you have somebody at the helm like a Biden. I mean, who's, he's an OG, whatever, but, I feel really strong about Kamala Harris as the vice president. I think that'd be a great team, but it's still going to be a fight. If we don't get the Senate back, then McConnell is still going to be, going to be obstructionist the whole way. So, it's still a drama, but we have to take it in steps, and I'm glad to see that the left came out in force, Black women came out in force.
Stacey Abrams, right? Woo.
Oh my goodness, she needs to be we need to go to Stacey Abrams to be like, sweetheart, what job you want? Like, what you want to do?
You're a solid ass cabinet.
What you want to do? You want to be queen of Mars? What do you want?
What do you want?
So guys, there's another thing that I been perplexed by. My wife's been perplexed by. Who are these Black women and men? Also, he got an additional amount of them also, Trump, to vote for him. Who are these people? What is the mindset? And look, I'm not one to say that we should all be voting 90% plus for one. There's something wrong about that even, right?
Right.
But even having said that, how do you vote for this guy who's so against all of your interests and what you fundamentally need to survive, literally?
Literally. I will say this from a business standpoint, Trump did good. I'll say it. From a business standpoint, he helped small businesses. That is true. There's tax provisions that he allowed, and it even helped my small business. So I get that. But then humanity speaks to me. And he's not a human doing work for the humans.
No.
That's the difference.
No, he's doing his work for one human. He does his work for one human.
Yes. And so I think that's a lot of it. I do find that business people really like him. And even those that are Black that are in business tend to go for him. And then there's just those dumb ass, I don't know, I shouldn't probably say dumb ass, but I can't speak to it because I don't understand it.
I think I want to I want to speak to it a little bit, because it's a couple different layers of where I see like the black crowd, or just the certain part of the black population that Trump managed to get in net over 2016. I think part of it is a burn it down mentality. I think a lot of black men and black women have been denied tangible resources for so long and tangible change for so long that it's like I would rather see destruction than to go through another cycle of, oh hey, like, good cop, bad cop. That's the way a lot of people that I speak to, that's the way they see it. But didn't necessarily vote for Trump, but just to kind of speak to that. Then you have a class of folks who are extremely self-serving and self-interested, like the Candace Owens, like several others who are black and kind of stand behind Trump and contradict themselves left and right. If there's 24 hours in a day, they contradict themselves 60 times in the 24 hours. Then you have a certain aspect of the black demographic that I believe are, and you kind of have those contrarian folks, and those tend to be the more gullible folks who think that if I'm contrarian versus what I've been getting, I'll get something new, when you'll just get an even worse version of the same thing. So it's kind of like how some folks have basically said, it's like choosing the lesser of two evils, but you pick even more evil. So I would rather you say, I'm just not going to participate, than to pick an even worse evil. So I see it from those perspectives, but I do think, honestly, black men and women really should reap a lot of the benefits of this presidency and this new candidacy that we have in office. And I think if it doesn't happen, we'll see an even worse Trump down the line because of everything I just said. And that's like my neutral take on everything, because we have been placated by the Democrats for a very, very, very long time. And I think a lot of black people have seen, certain resources go to many different, parts of the population amongst racial lines and so many other lines. And they feel like we just get symbolic things, like when Hillary Clinton went to the Breakfast Club and said she keeps hot sauce in her bag. That's kind of like the way I see things. And I know a lot of people do see it that way. I personally,
you know who else keep hot sauce in their bag?
Beyonce.
The devil. The devil.
I said Beyonce. You said the devil.
He got the hottest hot sauce. That sounds a little patronizing. I keep hot sauce in my bag,
Yeah,
right.
You know what though?
Yeah.
I always felt bad for Hillary because, everything stuck to her. Every weird allegation, accusation, just totally made up. Some candidates, like when they did that to Obama, nothing stuck. None stuck.
Yeah.
Nothing stuck.
But
nothing really stuck to Biden either.
I'm not trying to mess up your flow, kid, because I want you to keep going. But Hillary did say a lot of heinous things when Obama was running for president. During primary, primary was really nasty. Yeah. She played into like she said one time, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't want to put words in her mouth, but it was something to the effect of, well, what if he gets shot, as president? Because we were polarized, even more so now, obviously, but we were very polarized back then. It was like, you're going to let a black guy run for president? Like, what if he gets shot? And people were like, whoa, like, you know what I'm saying? And I do agree, things do stick with Hillary, but we do have to acknowledge her past and things.
Oh, no question. Oh, no, she bumped her head a gang of times. In that Obama campaign, trust me, I wasn't feeling the Clintons at all. I mean, and I definitely wanted Bill Clinton to go sit his ass down somewhere. Like, dude, you need to go sit down. You need to go. But you're right. They were doing Democratic and left wing dog whistles. That's what they was doing.
Right.
Yeah, they were doing some. They was doing some dirty stuff.
It was dirty.
It was.
Yeah, it's some stuff on both sides, definitely.
Yeah, but then maybe that's the karma, the political karma that comes back around. When it was her turn to run, and she was clearly the better of the two candidates, like it wasn't even close. It's like it's like a human being and a You know what I'm saying? And is going up against a steaming pile. And you couldn't beat that steaming pile, because one thing though, you got to give, Trump is an evil genius in terms of, and his people, they know.
He is a genius.
Evil genius. He evil genius.
He's Dr. Robotnik.
He and his squad, they know how to tap in to this angst and frustration and racism that racism is so strong that'll make people vote for him even when he really doesn't represent them. He's not, he ain't no, why would a coal miner vote for Donald Trump? You know what I mean? Why would anyone with a vagina vote for Donald Trump?
Why would a farmer vote for Donald Trump?
Why?
He doesn't even believe in climate change.
Exactly.
Why would
a Christian voting for him? I still don't understand Christians.
And you know what? Look, and I'll say this. And I hope it's over at least for a little while, because I can't tell you how many times I've, just a casual conversation with people, and you're talking, and they seem like pretty cool, or maybe like on the young tip, or a person of color or whatever, and then you kind of get down that road, start talking, and then you realize, yo, this dude likes Trump. I'm like, oh man, I can't even talk to you no more, dude. I was in an Uber. I was in an Uber the other day, and I'm talking. Get in the car, and this guy was probably like in his early 30s, something like that. And he had the old school hip hop on the radio, so we jamming. We listen to Tupac and Biggie and all this and that. And we talking about the recent propositions with the Lyft drivers and the Uber drivers. And I said, yo, this guy's pretty cool, man. You know what I mean? So we get to talking, and then we start talking, and I said stuff. I said, yeah, man. I said, this Trump is a motherfucker, man. And he was like, whoa. I felt the car like. I think the car like jolted. I was like, hey, homie, what's going on, man? And then he started to explain, this virus, it really ain't all that. I'm like, oh, there they go.
There we go. There it is.
I said, look here. I was about to say, look here, partner. Why don't you just pull over right here? I'll walk the rest of the way.
And give him a
No, you know what I did? You know what I did? And this is what I'm going to do moving forward. The first way we connected when I got in the car was on the hip hop. So I said, man, hey man, I said right back to the music, man. I know we both like that. We ain't gonna get nowhere beyond that. So let me go back and talk about what we both can agree on. So
right.
And I think to both your points, his people in that vibe aren't gonna go away just because he has to. So, and I heard there could be somebody worse, because that constituency isn't going anywhere.
No.
What if they get a younger, more energetic, more intelligent Trump?
That's exactly what I said.
You know what I'm saying? They know what works.
Time.
Yeah, he's just a disaster. In so many other ways. Yeah. And I think this is what the right is trying to do it in a smooth way. They'll
do it through a woman next time. I guarantee you they'll do it through a woman. You already see it.
I don't think so. I think it'll be a white man.
Yeah, they still hate women. They don't want no woman at the top of the ticket. That ain't never gonna happen. Not in my lifetime.
Angry white men. He's gonna bring up an angry white man.
This is what I think. I think they don't want to alienate or have his constituency, dissipate. They want to keep them. Absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised if they felt like it's time to clip Trump. He's outlived his usefulness. They got 3 justices out of him. 3.
Yeah. 3.
They was hoping for 1 or 2. They was hoping for 1 or 2. They got 3. They got like 2 huge tax cuts. Maybe in their mind, they're like, everything else is a disaster. So maybe it's time to, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then and get reboot with a younger, more malleable kind of person, because he's just a nut, man.
But he gave them, to your point, he gave them that playbook. And he has done stuff that really jeopardized this whole checks and balance. There's no checks and balance. I mean, if you really push the executive branch, this guy's still firing people left and right.
Left and right.
With 60, how many days left?
Yeah.
Less than 60, right?
And
just around 60. Around 60. Yep.
The other thing we don't talk about is the justices that he put in place. Not even the Supreme Court. Justices that will locally just destroy.
They put in hundreds of judges.
Yes, they did.
People don't realize hundreds of judges, whisked them through. their credentials. Maybe they got some, maybe they don't. You know what I'm saying? You know, these people coming up for judgeships with their resume on a napkin. Can I be a judge? Can I be a judge?
He has left that office and has left a legacy of white supremacy. That's what he did.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
That will stay with us forever.
Yeah.
Forever. This country will never be what it was.
Yeah.
And he has emboldened and empowered angry white men.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what about the angry black men out there who shooting each other?
Can I be a judge? Can I?
Is that your napkin?
Can I?
I got one too.
A judge.
You
Can
got
I be a judge?
My mama judge. My mama judge. Here come the judge. I'm sorry.
my napkin brown.
Oh,
we all got napkins.
I know. See that? Yeah, that's why mine look all messed up. I should have had a brown one, man. Oh my goodness. Well, yeah. So to better political days, it wouldn't surprise me if it literally got to that point where he had to be escorted out. I certainly hope it doesn't, because and this is the thing. His constituents, they don't want him to concede. They don't want him to go to the inauguration. They would be disappointed if he just busts up and said, "Hey man, you know what? I lost. I'm gonna help this dude out. And I'm go into private. Maybe I'll jump back in 2024." They don't want to hear that. They would think less of him. That's what I think. I think they're so bugged.
Yep.
Because we're not conceding.
Yep.
We are not conceding. What's conceding mean? We are not doing it. We're not gonna do it. We're not gonna be able to do it.
He is going to have to be evicted and drugged out of that office. He is not going to go voluntarily.
Mm-hmm. You know what? It's funny.
The COVID experience.
I never forget. This is over 2 years ago. My friend Bill Maher, that does Real Time with Bill Maher, said over 2 years ago, says, "Hey, if he loses, he ain't leaving." And I'm like, "Get out of here." I was like, "Man, you crazy, man. Stop it. He ain't leaving. He ain't, man, you crazy, man. You crazy, man. He gonna leave. Of course he gonna leave." Nope, he was right. He gave us a big "I told you so." He said, "I told you. He ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere." His feeble mind, I never lost. His feeble mind, his ego is in the shambles.
Even before he lost, right? Remember all the things he said. Can you imagine if I lose to this person?
Yes.
How bad would that be? And all this stuff.
Yes.
And so to your point about the ego, he can't deal with this. He cannot rationalize it. He can't deal with it. He doesn't know the words to say.
You imagine that? I conclude that I will not concede.
He's never been fired, obviously.
I know, right? Oh my God.
Oh, he has been.
Oh, totally.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, man.
And you see how the bitch is handling it.
And you know what? And you know what else too? Just real quick before we bounce up out of this, one of the things that really irked me was, how difficult they made it for people of color to vote. You know what I mean? And I compared it to my situation and my experience out here in California, in West Hollywood. So my girl finds me a place. A friend of hers called up and said, "Yo, go over to this spot right here on Crescent Heights in Fountain." They said it's wide open. It's like a Jewish center, whatever like that. I said, "I bet." This was the Friday before the Tuesday, election day. So I go over there and I couldn't believe it. I got in and out of there in 20 minutes. I mean, voted out 20, like heading back to my spot. 20 minutes. I couldn't believe it. And I just think of, 80-year-old grandmas in Atlanta sitting around waiting for 6, 7, 8 hours in the rain to vote. And, so I took a video of it. I threw it up on Instagram. I'm just like, this is ridiculous, man. Yeah. I walked in there. Some older white lady just, helped me out, found my name. I was ready. I was like, my name better be there now. I was ready.
She's ready to fight.
I was ready. I was ready to flip. You know what I mean? But everything was there, and I did it. You know, there were like 40 of those different cubicles, those yellow cubicles that you vote in. I did it. There was only like 2 other people there, and this is 3 o'clock in the afternoon, man, broad daylight.
It's true, but everything you're saying is true, because my voting experience was definitely not the normal of what I've seen on TV and social media. I voted at the Brooklyn Museum, and this was around 6 o'clock in the evening. Like, I was in and out in 5 minutes, like no line. Like, I was in and out, and then on the outside, I was greeted. They like, hey, you want empanadas? Like, they're giving food to people, like, to encourage them to come out. Hey, you get pizza over here, empanadas over here. I'm like, whoa, it's a party. I said, I'll vote again for Biden if I could get a couple more, more of them things. But, you know, it's a totally different experience. And obviously the area that I live in, you know, it's middle class, it's upper middle class. So you have this privilege almost to vote. It's not like, hey, go to the school, and the school is wrapped around the block, and then you got to spend the, you know, like, it's almost like it's a privileged position, and it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah, I was looking at what I was looking at. I don't know if you guys saw when Roland Martin was like filming. I guess he went to a polling place in Texas early in the morning, raining, and he was going, and he saw how the line winded around this big complex or whatever that polling place was, and people, you know, and it was us, it was black folks, you know what I'm saying, and people of color and old people and whatnot, and Roland Martin was filming it, and he actually started crying, like he's just like, yo, man, like, these people are tough. I mean, and it's so effed up that they make it this tough, but they tough enough. And it made me feel, you know, like I said, it made me feel guilty. I'm walking in, I sail in and sail out, on about my business, and it's 80 degrees outside. I said, somebody gonna kill me, man. Stop it, man. It's not supposed to be like that. You know, I said, they're not supposed to make voting difficult. Voting's supposed to be easy. You're supposed to be able to vote on your phone. All right? How come
apps for everything else?
How come we vote for American Idol and nobody ever questions who the winner is? Why do we do that? Huh? Kelly Clarkson, you won, right? You don't see that Justin Guarini with the curly hair, like, I don't accept it. No, you lost. Justin, get out of here. We accept that. And that's millions of votes too, tens of millions of votes. We accept that so easy. But they gotta make us jump through every stinking hoop to vote. And I'm glad that people braved all the you know, not just the inclement weather, the inclement attitudes and the suppression that was being put down. So onward and upward.
Yep.
He showed up.
Okay, let's talk about that. That's funny on the way out. You know what I mean? What was that again, Brandon? They got what you said? They got a perfume that smells like their relationship.
Yeah, their love.
They have a kind of like a his and hers type of thing, where I guess it's like a package. I don't know too much about it, but I guess it's like a package where you get the cologne and you get the matching perfume, so you guys can smell like each other. Okay. I guess that's the thing now.
Listen, if they had a perfume, right, I think that's cool. You know, a perfume that's based on our love, individually and collectively. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking if they had a perfume, my relationship, me and my lady, it'd be called Extra Funky.
Oh God.
It's funky.
Funky.
That's funky. Now, you know what? When I look at that particular couple, man, like, Dr. Val, is it crazy to be like proud and jealous at the same time? You know what I mean? Like I'm so proud of them. I see black love, and I see, a blended family with they got Future's kids that they raising, and they got their own kids now. And Russell's just he's always been a winner. And Ciara used to date them rappers, and he came around and showed her the good life, showed her a purer life where you don't got without a lot of other baby mothers and all this and that. I think Future got about 27 baby mamas. So, he showed her a better life and kind of exalted her. He brought her into high society. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. I think it's beautiful. It's inspiring. Yes, you can be jealous and you can be like proud, and it's called inspiration. You're inspired by their symbol of Black love, because we don't really see that. And I think that is what's inspiring. I mean, as far as their cologne, if it doesn't smell like her JJ, you know, I'm okay with it.
They wait, you know, they probably do got stuff like that out there. I don't think I don't think they sell that at Saks Fifth Avenue. I think they probably sell that in Times Square, the old Times Square back in the day.
Like Gwyneth Paltrow has a candle that smells like her vagina. I'm like,
right, yeah, that was Trump. Yeah, Trump had his perfume out there. It's called grab by the pussy.
So the actual name of the perfume and cologne is called R&C for Russel and Ciara. Yeah. And the C scent is a blend of red berries. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but it's peony, pink popcorn, and gardenia. And the Russel's fragrance is patch. I've never heard of these things. I'm sorry. Patchouli, lime. Patchouli, lime, lavender, and water lily.
Yeah.
And it's going to debut for $90 at their website, rncfragrance.com for $90.
That's cute.
Yeah, maybe I'll grab that for my lady. Christmas.
You guys can smell.
I think it's a dope Christmas gift. You know, they always get you in Saks when you go in Saks. They want you to buy the perfume. They spray you with everything. You're like, damn, do I stink? Like, do I smell bad? They're like, no, listen, you need to buy this.
I'm telling you, I remember back in the days when I used to go into Sephora.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, because they always had like pretty girls working there, so you just like, you know, even if you was just like window shopping, you know what I mean? Like, but that was back in the days when they were really, really generous with the samples. You know what I mean? So I would go in there, and a lot of times I wouldn't even buy nothing. I just
change
be like,
the game.
I just leave with they don't do that no more. You know, I went up in there. You know, I don't know. Some time ago, I went up in there just trying to do my old. You know, how many of these samples I can get away with. Man, I got one. I might have got one. You know what I'm saying? Like, I said, yo, y'all don't be giving out the samples no more. And they're like, nah, bro. No. We not. Your name is up, your face is on the wall when this dude come in.
No samples, no textures, nothing.
COVID,
nothing.
You cut off. Well, it's probably we're gonna land this. We're probably gonna land this plane soon because Dr. Yves is flying to
somewhere.
He's flying to Monaco tonight to
I wish.
Emergency surgery.
So dressed up back there looking all fly.
The Grand Duke of Dingleberry.
I gotta give a talk on COVID and the brain tomorrow, 7:00 in the morning.
Real quick, Dr. Yves, because I've been reading about, there's so much information flying around. But I think one of the things that people didn't realize, but they're thinking about it more and more, particularly with athletes that catch COVID. Like let's say you recover from it, but there still may be lingering effects,
especially around the heart. So you can get some inflammation around the heart that can enlarge in your heart, and you go out there, you play, and the level that these guys play, you could have sudden death. You could just collapse. And so, there's different recommendations. In Europe, they're actually doing MRIs of the heart to make sure it's okay before you go back into competitive play. So there's a lot of that information. Kid, you've been reading a lot. I am so impressed, man.
He's on the shit.
So
it's not wait, I'm so well read, but I'm so lonely.
Yeah. So
no, but I did hear about that, and I think that's the reason why a lot of these athletes, particularly some of the college athletes, that figured they were going to get drafted anyway. That's why they were opting out, because and it didn't seem that the people involved in college football in the beginning, it just didn't feel like they were being 100% straight up.
Nope.
You know what I mean? And then the kids pushed back because they started getting that kind of information. Say, hey man, even if you get it and beat it, there still may be problems down the line.
Right.
So, it's got to be tough because some of these kids have to play in order to get drafted, in order to change their families' lives, in order to get that generational welfare, generational wealth. But the ones that don't, the ones that was already going to be first rounders, it was like,
Exactly.
see you at the draft, homie.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point. And it goes to that whole, these people are putting their lives, these players, and they're not getting paid as professionals. That's a whole other topic, right?
It is another topic, and I'll tell you, and I'll tell you what we call it, Brandon. Listen to this, because I felt this way for a really long time. What I call the NCAA's, particularly in terms of basketball and football, it's the last plantation.
Right.
The last plantation. These kids risk their lives for nothing, and if somebody gives them a nickel, a farthing, a pizza, a car ride, they arbitrarily slap them down, this and that, which hurts their future earnings and possibly getting into the league and stuff like that. But it's ridiculous, and we've seen some kind of progress, but it's still
far from it. But one thing I do commend California, and kudos to LeBron as well, because LeBron put a lot of pressure on the NCAA with his platform and his podcast. I believe it's called Undisputed, and he basically exposed like how these student athletes are being exploited for their likeness and their competitiveness, when the NCAA on paper is a nonprofit, but they're banking money. These coaches are multimillionaires, and the players can't afford ramen noodles.
Exactly, the coach gets $5 million a year, from Nike, and so the team wears all Nike stuff or whatever. All the kid gets is the shoes.
It's the gear.
They can't even
sell that gear.
Yeah, I had a buddy of mine, real quick. A buddy of mine played back in the days for the Miami Hurricanes back in the '80s when they were like the greatest, beating everybody. So he goes into one of the biggest games of the year against Boston College. He's got 4 touchdowns. He's getting ready to go to the league next year, get drafted. Goes into the bowl game, blows his knee out. Goes to the league, late round draft pick, never really makes it, and doesn't have a fulfilling pro career. Playing in a bowl game where the University of Miami probably made millions of dollars. Never got none of that. Brought all this revenue to the school. They sell your jersey, you get nothing. They sell your likeness, you get nothing for the most part. So let's table that, man. That'd be a great topic.
That's a good topic.
And Brandon, you called them student athletes. Where's the student part?
Yeah.
Because that kid, I bet you, what degree did he have coming out?
Oh my God, please. And when they use up their eligibility, they're just like bang. Boom.
Get out of here.
Bounce. Next one. In.
Right. Speaking of bounce, speaking of the next one.
All right.
We're gonna land this plane. We're gonna do what I call a sully. We're gonna sully this. It's great to be back with my 2 favorite doctors of life, doctors of love, and yours truly, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Look for us even more and more. We'll get on the regular tip with y'all. We appreciate any time you do spend with us. Enjoy yourselves, and we'll see you again real quick. All right.
Peace. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Have a great night. Stay safe.